Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan, the channel here where we talk about everything Thailand. Now, I posted a story yesterday that was a bit heartfelt because I've got my own young child, so it was a difficult one for me to tell. And due to that story yesterday, I've had a few emails sent in, and one in particular is from a guy who is decided to share his story, where he met a Thai woman back in 2016, had a baby, and had so many problems, and he's still with her to this day. So it's a very, very interesting story, and it's a long story, guys. So go stick the kettle on, grab a coffee, and get ready for this one. So let's roll the intro while you stick that kettle on. Okay, everyone, welcome back. So let's kick off straight away with this story. Hi, Dan. I have a story to tell of my Thai experience and having a child with a Thai girl, the ups and downs, and what I've come through and where we are now. It started in 2016. I just lost my mother back in the UK. It was a sudden death from nowhere, and she was only in her mid-50s. My mother lived abroad but was back in the UK visiting us. Me and my sister lived next door to each other, and my mother was staying at my sister's. Her husband frantically knocked on my door early one morning, saying she's gone. I sprinted to my sister's to find my mother on the floor with paramedics performing CPR on her. They had found a pulse, but she remained in a coma for 2 weeks and later died in hospital. This really messed me up as we were a very close family and our mother was our rock, bringing us up on her own and sacrificing everything along the way for us, her kids. A few months later, I wanted to get away from everything and decided to go to Thailand for a month with friends just to get away from it all. I was still depressed from what we'd all been through and wanted to clear my mind or maybe give myself something else to think about. I had been to Thailand a couple of times before and loved the country. The 2 previous times I visited, I had gone with ex-girlfriends and kind of wished I'd been single because of all the beautiful Thai ladies. I was now single and took advantage of what Thailand had to offer in regards to the nightlife, first in Bangkok, then Phuket, and then over to Krabi, Ao Nang. In Ao Nang, I met a girl called Jang. She was a very shy, sweet, petite girl from Isan. I know everyone will think it's the usual story, but she had only been there for a week and was working in a bar. I know the story is true about her only being there a week because we've been together a long time now and know the full backstory as to why she was there and why she had to go. Anyway, her English was basically non-existent and we mainly communicated with Google Translate. We got on really well and spent every day together for the remainder of my stay. I gave her a few thousand baht when I left as a parting gift, what I had left in my wallet, and we said our goodbyes. When I returned to the UK, I booked another trip to return a month later, and she stopped working in the bar and returned to her home. I sent her £200, approximately 8,000 baht, while I was away to help out. Anyway, she went back to the village and stayed with her family. This was the first time I got to see how Thais live, as we would FaceTime every day, couple of times a day. Her family are rice farmers, as is normal in Isan. They had a bit of money and are actually quite land wealthy, owning 30 rai of land. They had sent their daughter to university in the local city, Sarakam, but she didn't take advantage of the opportunities and sacrifices her family had made for her and ended up in a bar like so many Isan girls do. She had gambled through university and built up a debt that her parents had to pay. They had sold off some land to pay for her debts, but then she did it again and they cut her off. That's when she was forced to go to Krabi and work the debt off herself. I come along just after she arrived, and this apparently sweet, shy girl who I wanted to save from this life of prostitution saw me as another opportunity. I came back a month after leaving as planned. We met at Konken, as this is the local airport to Maha Sarakam, approximately an hour drive away. We got straight on a flight to Phuket because we had planned to travel around for a month and that's how long I intended to stay. I ended up extending this trip to 3 months as we got on so well and I just didn't want to return to the UK. She was obviously fine to have someone paying for everything and having a long holiday, making her friends jealous with Instagram posts. I was giving her a bit of money to send to her family because she was not working, only 8,000 baht a month. This was going to pay gambling debts and not really going to her family at all, I later discovered. Anyway, 3 months up and I had to return to the UK. My family was opening up another business and I had to be there to get it going. She returned to the village and I sent her 15,000 a month to give her a bit of pocket money. I stayed in the UK for 2 months and then decided to return to Thailand when my duties were done opening the new business. When I returned, I was happy going back into the travelling mode that we had experienced before. We literally did most of Thailand. All the touristy areas like Phuket, Koh Samui, Krabi, Koh Lanta and Chiang Mai, as well as the non-touristy bits in between. I saw so much of Thailand and grew to love the country even more. I met a lot of her friends from uni on our travels and then they were all respectable, reasonably educated people with good jobs. It made her look better than she really was, but solidified what was in my mind. She needed rescuing, and I was going to rescue her from this life of going to work in lady bars. For the next 2.5 years, we continued this scenario where I would be coming to Thailand and staying for 3 to 4 months, and then returning to the UK for a month or two in between. This happened until early 2019 when she became pregnant. We had never used protection, and although wasn't planned that we would try and get her pregnant, obviously I wasn't naive and knew it was likely to happen. She was great with kids, and I really thought it was fine and would all work out if it happened. We decided to move and settle in Chiang Mai as this was the best place to raise a family because it was calm, had good private hospitals and good international schools. Late 2019 came and we had our baby. I had stayed in Thailand though through most of the pregnancy, taking care of her and doing all the prenatal care, etc. My sister came to support me for the birth as our mother wasn't around. It was a happy occasion and everything went smoothly. I flew her family over to come and meet our daughter, her mother, her aunt, and a gay cousin to help the old ladies on what was their first flight, aged around mid-60s. A month after our daughter was born and after all the family members had left, she started going a bit crazy. Mad mood swings, throwing stuff around the house and screaming like I hadn't heard before. I knew this was probably down to being so tired as a new mother and possibly suffering from some postnatal depression. I tried to help as much as I could, waking up in the night to do night feeds, doing all the cleaning in the house, constant clothes washes, and cooking all the meals. I was in charge of all the bottle cleaning and also milk preparation because, in all honesty, Thais are not as sanitary as we are in the West, and I wanted to ensure our baby didn't get sick. She couldn't breastfeed because she couldn't make enough milk. I bought 3 different pumps, but those little Isan boobs just wasn't up for it. Anyway, a couple of months after our baby arrived, I moved us to a house as I wanted more room. Then, of course, a month later, the pandemic hit us, just before everything in Thailand closed. I offered to pay for one of her friends to come and stay with us so she could help out with the baby. Her friend was going to be without work because of the pandemic, so she wanted to earn some money, and Jang was happy to have a friend with her. Of course, this was also going to give me a little break, and I was very happy with that. So, Jang's mood swings continued, and her friend was also concerned she had some postnatal depression after staying with us for a while. We were going to the hospital monthly for vaccines and checkups, so her friend recommended mentioning to the doctor about the mood swings. Jang did not want to say anything to the doctor, probably because of the Thai way of thinking and losing face, so we didn't mention it. Her friend eventually left when her old job started again, so we were on our own to get on with it. The first Thai lockdown came and went pretty quick, but there was no way of flying back to the UK for my normal pit stop. Not that I really wanted to, as Thailand was fully open and the UK and the rest of the world was in a strict constant lockdown. So over the next few months we remained in Thailand, doing the odd trip to her family or little holiday to a deserted Phuket. Her mood swings slowly became worse and worse, so I employed the gay cousin to come and stay with us in our home in Chiang Mai. He was a really nice guy and great with the baby, loved playing with our daughter. In all honesty, he was a godsend, helped with cleaning and also made some food. I have to say, until now, he was the best wife I ever had. He stayed with us for around 6 months, and until our planned trip for the UK, late 2020, our baby still hadn't met lots of family because of COVID, and I wanted to introduce her and Jang to friends and family. We went and stayed in my home next to my sister's house, which was now empty of tenants, and planned to stay there for 6 months. As soon as we got to the UK, England went into another lockdown. Great. So we were stuck between mine and my sister's, which wasn't too bad a scenario, as at least we were not all alone and cooped up. My sister had two small kids, so my daughter happily played with her cousins throughout. After lockdown finished, I helped out in the family business and opened up a new bar. Jang stayed at home, and during that time, unbeknown to me, began gambling again on Thai or Chinese websites, secretly losing untold amounts of money. When the 6 month was up, Jang returned alone, as I was still needed for another couple of months, helping to get the new business going. The UK was in COVID recovery, and our business needed a bit more attention than normal. Jang continued to gamble and was always asked for more money. I was sending 100,000 baht a month anyway. I was telling her it was impossible. She needed more but sent more anyway, as I didn't want my daughter to go without anything. I had now been away from my daughter for 3 months, and I was really struggling to cope with not seeing her and feared she would begin to forget me, even though I was FaceTiming with her daily. I told Jang I was ready to come back to Thailand, and she had a confession. She told me she had been gambling and had given my car to loan sharks. Obviously, I was furious. I had been sending her 120 to 140,000 baht a month. I knew it was a crazy amount to need, but on top of that, she had also given away my car for her gambling. I sent her money to get the car back and pay the debt, which she did, booked a flight for a week later and returned to Thailand. On my return journey, now late 2021, she confessed to me at the airport the car was not there. She had given it to a family member for a loan. Again, I went crazy and didn't need to hear that shit as I was flying out. Got to Thailand, ready to take control of the finances and situation as she could not. I paid for the new debt and got my car back and took over all finances. I limited the money she could have as I knew she would just gamble it. Things totally changed, and of course, now she didn't have the support she once had. She got moodier than ever. Over the next few months, she started getting aggressive and violent. I had to endure all of it for my daughter. I so didn't want to leave my daughter with an erratic, angry person and just wanted to take her away. But I also wanted my daughter to have a mother and a father and try to work all of this out so she could live a normal life. We stayed together and would have times of peace and times of turbulence. Over the months, I learned Jang had racked up debts again, and just like her parents had done before, I refused to pay them. I said if she wants a chance to pay them off, we can move to the UK, where she could work and earn good money in a respectful job, not whoring, as had been her previous solution, even if only for a week and only with me. We applied for visas and waited for the next few months in Thailand until they arrived. Getting my daughter to the UK seemed like the best move to me. If the mother went crazy and tried to take her away, I knew I would be in a better position with some rights, in comparison to being in Thailand. We arrived to the UK in March 2022, and Jang did get straight to working, and with all due respect. The bad mood swings and occasional violence continued initially, but after a while, at least the violence stopped. Okay, so we are now still living together in the UK. I try to stay calm while also trying to calm her down for the sake of our daughter. During her crazy mood swings, she is always threatening to go to Thailand and take our daughter, but she knows she cannot because I have documented all the violence and screaming episodes and would immediately take her to court for custody if she tried to take our daughter. I have my daughter's passport, it's a German passport, and she cannot secretly get her a new one. I'm living in a difficult situation with someone I don't really want to be with, but I do it for my daughter. When she is a bit older, either her mother will have moved on and leave us to it, I would guess, or if she meets another naive Falang, she can go off with him. Until then, we are single but living together and both taking care of our daughter. Well, 90% me and 10% her. She was good with our daughter initially, but over the years, she has done less and less. Okay, and then as a closing statement, guys, it's a very long story. Even though it doesn't span a huge amount of time, it might be too long for you to read out. Anyway, it's been good for me to write it all down and tell the story, even if it's just to you. I haven't told it to anyone, even though people around me know the majority of what I've had to deal with. It's been therapeutic to write it all down. All the best, Karim or Kareem. Okay, so firstly, I just want to say thank you for sharing your story on the channel with all of us. I don't know if your name is pronounced as Karim or I think it's Kareem. I think that's right. I just want to say thank you for sharing. You've shared a lot of personal stuff about your story. And again, you're not on your own. There's a lot of people that are having to endure issues with the Thai partner that have got a gambling issue. For me, gambling can be worse than drugs because people will sell and do everything that they can to keep gambling, hoping that the next big fortune they're going to win. And it doesn't work out like that. It's a loser's game, and you'll always lose in the end. And gambling can be very, very addictive. So with the post-traumatic postnatal depression, and with the gambling addiction, I feel like a combination of those, dealing with a baby, etc., just brought out her mood swings and her violence. So sorry that you've had to endure it. And again, hats off to you for actually having to, well, not having to, for choosing to stick around and do everything that you can with the situation that you're in for your daughter. And people need to understand there's a lot of good men out and about that'll do everything that they can for the kids. I've had a few other stories sent in as well, which I'm going to read this morning, which I'll probably post today. So for now, guys, this has been Thai Talk with Dan, and hopefully I'll speak to you all again very soon. Ciao for now.